Now for some analysis on our top stories, let's bring in senior political analyst Brit Hume. Good evening, Brit. I want to start with impeachment and where we stand tonight. You know, this, as time goes on and we go into a Christmas break and break in for the new year, do you think more time helps Democrats make that case for more witnesses and documents in a Senate trial?
Well, I'm not sure that this current week we're in, this holiday week through the new year, will make much difference. But everything we're seeing from Senator Schumer and Speaker Pelosi suggests that they're in real doubt as to whether the evidence that they've brought forth so far is good enough, and that they are very, very urgently seeking a way to hopefully, from their perspective, find some more evidence. That's what this whole issue about trying to bring in witnesses, though there certainly weren't any witnesses in the Clinton impeachment, seems to be all about. McConnell, Leader McConnell in the Senate, meanwhile, seems quite comfortable with the current situation. He doesn't seem to be in any hurry to start a trial, and Speaker Pelosi doesn't seem to have much leverage over him, and the Constitution doesn't give her any. And the only way to make this work, I suppose, is to mount some sort of public pressure to demand witnesses. But if McConnell has the votes, he can run this trial any way he wants to.
You know, Britt, do you get the sense that not only on the Ukraine issue, but now with this new talk about possibly looking back at the Mueller report and the documents that the House is trying to get from the Mueller investigation, that Democrats are trying to find something, even with more time, to maybe even stick that into an impeachment article?
Well, that's what it sounds like. All of it adds up to the same thing, though, Brett, doesn't it? It adds up to the idea that whatever they have isn't enough, and they've so far utterly failed to move a single Republican vote either in the House or the Senate, at least that we know of. No senator has come forward to say that he or she is in favor of voting to convict the president. It's a very high bar, of course, requiring 2/3 of the Senate. There's no indication that it's going to get anywhere near that. And I seriously doubt, Brett, that if they were to wamp up some further charges based upon the Mueller report, which largely exonerated the president, it did raise some obstruction of justice issues, but even those were not sufficient to get Mueller to even say that there'd been an obstruction of justice, only that there were cases that might have added up to that. And, of course, that was rejected by Rod Rosenstein and, of course, Attorney General Barr. So, you know, I think that what the Democrats are dealing with here is an extreme long shot, and maybe two long shots. But nonetheless, I don't think the odds are in their favor for.
Yeah, as we get to the end of the year, I mean, the president seems like he has some political wind at his back, despite this impeachment. He's got a couple of polls with him at 50%, some about 45, 46, but the economy is churning on all cylinders.
Yeah, and that's normally the most critical issue. It is certainly what's given him buoyance so far. You know, during this past year, there were times when there was a lot of talk about the possibility we might be looking at the onset of a recession sometime soon, sometime perhaps even before the 2020 election. Now, nobody seems to be saying that, which, you know, if you're an investor, you might think that, oh, that's a bad sign when nobody's worried. But from a political standpoint, the president would appear to be in better shape than he was at the beginning of the year, which is hardly what his adversaries in the Democratic Party had hoped for when they were, you know, in the process of trying to impeach him. That's the way the matter stands, at least for now, as I see it.
Last thing, Britt, do you expect Nancy Pelosi to move these articles soon after we get back from this break, January 6, 7? I mean, that standoff is going to stop?
Well, I would think so, because I think she made a stab here at trying to figure a way to get some more evidence into the case. And if that fails, if she just leaves the articles in the House, never moving into the Senate, the whole thing kind of dies. Alternatively, perhaps McConnell would have the option of making a motion in the Senate or to dismiss the case for lack of prosecution. So he's got some choices. I'm not sure she has very many left.
Brett, as always, thank you, and Merry Christmas.
You bet. Same to you, Brett.